So I do have some notes about things that I took from yesterday, and I want to talk a little bit about what you're going to hear today. But I'll give you the choice. Do you want to hear my thoughts, or do you want to hear a joke first? Okay. All right. I have two really great ones. All right? Why did Shakespeare struggle in how he was going to market his plays when they were being performed at that amazing theatrical place, the Globe Theatre in ancient London? Why did he struggle so much? He couldn't decide if his go-to-market should be B2B or B2C. That was the question. Come on, to be or not to be? All right. So that's a good one. And here's the second one. You ready? I know. All right. By the way, there's only about 100 of these online. I've used a lot, and we're starting to run out of the good ones. All right? An SEO copywriter walks into a bar, bars, tavern, pub, pubs, public house, Irish pub, bar. Okay, all right, we're done. No more jokes. I do my best, but sometimes it doesn't work. But you are laughing, so it's okay if you laugh at me, not with me. I'm totally accepting of that fact. All right, so yesterday, I had taken a bunch of notes, and I always take notes when I come to MediaPost events. I love the MediaPost events because of the fact that you have this nice balance of hearing people talk about strategies and ideas that are working for them, or even ones that don't. Plus, you have this opportunity to sit and talk with other people who are in the same field of expertise as you, and they have great ideas that maybe are helping to inspire something you've come up with. And there was a lot of conversations about different strategies that were working and different ideas and concepts that took a while to come to fruition and they get executed. Now, I started my career as a planner back in 1995, so I know what planning and buying is like, and it's still something that I really hold dear to me. Like, I truly love the concept of planning and buying and advertising. And back in 1995, and I think Joe kind of alluded to this yesterday, there wasn't a lot of choices. You had maybe 15 different choices, and the 15 choices in my eyes back in 95 included TV, radio, print, out of home, and the internet, because there was only about 10 viable internet channels at that point. There was literally a few million people online, and you could go to a couple different places to reach them all. And you didn't have to think about the challenges of fraud and all the different types of data sources. Joe also called out yesterday this concept of atomization rather than fragmentation or hyperfragmentation. The bottom line is it's really difficult to be a planner or a buyer today, because essentially you are expected to create miracles in advertising and in marketing by sucking in so much information, so much insight, so much data, and then being able to transform that into something that's simple and cohesive and can actually drive measurable outcomes for a business. And you have to do it a lot. Now, some of us have more to do than others. I'm a B2B marketer. So for me, I really have one or two products I've got to push. The women from Penguin Random House, they have thousands of titles every year that they have to push. And everyone's got to be successful. If there's a couple that are unsuccessful, then you start being questioned, because how many times has marketing been the scapegoat for something that's not working? Right? That happens all the time. So our jobs are very difficult. And that's something you have to acknowledge once in a while. So coming to an event like this and being surrounded with other people who have the same similar challenges and the same similar issues that they have to face in a day-to-day environment is really healthy. Now, I also work from home, and I think I'm pretty creative. I think I come up with some pretty good ideas. But I'll tell you as a fact, I come up with better ideas here, listening to all of you talk, than I do sitting at home talking to my dog. He does not help me very much on the brainstorming front. He makes me feel good. He jumps in my lap, smells pretty good. But I don't get the same creative spark that I do from being in a room and talking to all of you. So I think you have to just take 1 second to acknowledge that your job isn't easy, but being surrounded by people who are in the same situation and have the same challenges gives you an opportunity for inspiration, for learning. I took down literally 2 pages of notes yesterday, right? And I was talking to Jason after the fact about the Diageo stuff and how, the great idea of putting your brand inside that environment and how long it took to actually develop that idea, but then how much longer did it take to actually execute that idea. Okay? You look at the Ferrero stories yesterday and all the brands that you have to work with, there's a lot that you have to try and be successful with. The Penguin Random House people, the book talk idea. I'm not a TikTok person, my kids are, and I'm on there solely to be able to monitor what they do. But understanding that this whole book talk concept was created out of an idea of how do I promote thousands of titles, I wrote down a bunch of different ideas that I think are valuable to me as a marketer, to me as a writer, and hopefully you're doing the same thing. And then when you see someone talk and you have the chance to go have a piece of meat with them, or have a drink with them, or go throw an axe with them, not at them, with them. If you're sitting on Town Lake in a canoe and all of a sudden you get that inspiration for an idea, make sure you write that down. Make sure you follow up with that person because it's a really cool opportunity. You don't get at a lot of other events. And I go to events, you don't have the same environment where you can sit and have a full conversation with what I sometimes refer to lovingly as a captive audience. Right? You're captive. You are here for a couple days, but you're not captives. You actually want to be here, and you're having fun. And you're not stuck in a room for 8 hours listening to boring diatribes about how amazing that person is on stage and how creative they actually are. You're hearing ideas that hopefully inspire you to do something else. So hopefully you're getting is that I love advertising. And I think the people in this room typically love advertising. Otherwise, I don't think you'd keep doing it. So use these events as a chance to crystallize really cool ideas, to think about how I deal with fragmentation. How do you deal with all the different channels that are out there? And then today, what you're going to hear specifically is that we're going to talk about things that are different channels. Right? There's a whole topic on how social is becoming an evolved channel for advertisers and for marketers. We're going to hear about measurement. What's the right measurement? Because measurement is one of those things that if you go back to 95 and, Joe, I'm looking at you because measurement never goes away, right? We have to prove what we do every single day. And literally, you come up with an idea on how to measure it, and you sell that through, and in 6 months, it's completely outdated, and you got to find a new way, all right? It is not easy. Our jobs are not easy. So we're going to think about different types of measurement. There's also this through line on everything, which is innovation. And you can't spell innovation without AI. So obviously I had to double check to make sure in my head that that's correct before I said it. But yes, you can't. Innovation is always at the forefront of what you're doing. And as a planner and a buyer, you're literally asked to forecast the future, to put the future into your plans, because it took you 6 months, it took you 3-4 months to put together these ideas. And by the time they actually get executed into fruition, you're in the future. So you have to have the foresight to put some ideas in place that were going to be used later. So we're going to see innovation, we're going to see AI as a through line for everything that's being discussed. You're going to hear about how we expand an audience. The AARP is going to come up in a minute, and they're going to talk about expanding their audience in a way that you may not have originally thought about. I turned 51 this year. I'm getting a lot of ads for the AARP, right? But I've been getting them for a couple of years, and you're going to hear why that actually makes sense. There's also this idea of testing and learning. Hyundai is going to talk about testing and learning. And then my most favorite topic for the day is this idea of attention metrics, right? Because we do, and it was already mentioned, we live in a world right now where you can't measure all the engagement. Right? You can't. We have CTV, we have digital out of home, we have all these great tools, but you really can't truly measure the engagement across all these channels as accurately as we would love to. So we are starting to think about the attention. How attentive is the audience when you are exposing to your message in whatever channel or environment you're going to be in? Right? These are the kind of things that I love writing about because they make me think about topics that I don't have to deal with every day as a B2B marketer, but by thinking about these topics and connecting dots for things that otherwise you wouldn't be tasked to think about, you end up being better at your core job, at your core role. And in your job and in your role in your company, people are looking to you for that continued innovation. They're looking to you for that continued growth and expansion. That's why you stay in the job that you're in. That's why they look to you. That's why they continue to promote you. And hopefully your success continues to grow. Make sense? Okay. So with that, I'm going to introduce Rajiv Modi. Rajiv's going to come up from AARP, and he's going to talk a little bit about what I was just mentioning about expanding your audiences. So please bring up Rajiv.